Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, dear viewers, to another episode of our program, The Benefits, reading from the beneficial book that is beneficial in the matter of spirituality, the things that support the heart and the spirit with much spirituality. The topic of today is very beautiful, and it may not be enough for one episode. We're going to begin with it. It's very spiritual, and it's very important. Believe me. The title of this important spiritual episode is Bunyan Asasuhu Taqwa Min Allahi wa Ridwanih. Structure that is based on fearing Allah and pleasing Him. Ibn Al-Qayem wanted to tell us in the whole subject here that if you firm the roots of the building by fearing Allah, you can raise up the building as much as you want. But if the roots of the building of taqwa, of faith, is not firmly constructed on taqwa, God-fearing, this structure may collapse at any time. Well, we begin by reciting the verses that Ibn Al-Qayem had taken this title from, and to be translated after that. Allah the Almighty says in His glorious Quran on the 9th chapter, verses from 108 to 110. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أفمن أسس بنيانه على تقوى من الله ورضوان خير أم من أسس بنيانه على شفا جرف هار فانهار به في نار جهنم والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين لا يزال بنيانهم الذي بنوا ريبة في قلوبهم إلا أن تقطع قلوبهم والله عليم حكيم. Translation: Is one who laid the foundation of his building of righteousness, fearing Allah, is one who laid the foundation of his building on righteousness with fear from Allah and seeking His approval, His pleasure, is better? Or one who laid the foundation of his building on the edge of a bank about to collapse, so it collapsed with him into the fire of hell? Still, their building which they built will be a cause of skepticism in their hearts until their hearts are cut. And Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. Ibn Al-Qayyim used this verse and he started to give his beautiful commentary on that. He said, whoever seeks to raise over and over the highness of his building, then he should be working on compacting firmly or firmly rooting his structure and keep maintaining it. For the highness of this structure can be stronger due to the accuracy, the correctness, and the perfectness of his structure. Then he said, the works are the structure and the faith is its basis. And once the base is strong, then the structure can be lifted up and you can raise many floors and stages on that structure. While if this structure, this strong structure, if something is splitted or cracked, then it will be easy to fix it. Since the base is strong, is firm, then anything happens to the structure can be fixed. But once the base, this is as long as the base is firm. But if the base of that structure is not firm, then the structure cannot be built over it, and it will not be firm. Then, if something from that structure has been splitted or cracked, then this will cause the whole structure to fall down and to collapse. Then he quoted the verse, "Is one who laid the foundation of his building on righteousness with fear from Allah better, or the one who laid the foundation of his building on the edge of a bank about to collapse, so it collapsed with him into the fire of hell?" Then he said, the believer's concern always is to correct the base of the structure and to make it firm and solid. This is the believer. And while the ignorance is one who keep lifting things on the structure without having a firm and solid base for that structure. That structure will soon collapse. Then Al-Qayem said, so raise up your structure on strong bases of faith. For if anything wrong happens, splitting or cracking or etc., something from the upper or the roof of the structure, it will be easy for you to fix it and to reform it and to reconstruct it. But if the root is not firm, then you cannot fix the structure. You have to rebuild the whole structure. Then he said, this base are, a matter of fact, two things. This base can be attained by two things. The first thing is the soundness, the truthfulness, the true doctrine in knowing Allah, His commands, His do's, His don'ts, His names, and His attributes. Knowing Allah properly and knowing His revelation properly. This will be the first issue of the base. And the second issue of the base is to comply and to obey Allah and the Messenger whom you have known the revelation by. Then he said, this is the firmest kind of base that can the servant of Allah build his structure on. And the best kind of faith you have, the more you can raise up the structure of your building of faith with. Now we stopped here. We finished. There's something very beautiful that Ibn Al-Qayem mentioned. After you have firmly constructed the structure of faith, now you have to decorate it. He said, if the structure now, the building is complete, then polish it with good morality, with doing good to people. Then let it be surrounded by the fences of caution. Fences of caution, lest the enemy will attack it. Then you have to seek a key for that structure, and the key of that structure is the remembrance of Allah. You can open the structure and lock the structure by that key of remembrance. So, the enemy will be roaming around the structure, but he will not be finding any way to enter the building there through. Then keep maintaining and following up that fortress, that structure, at every time. For the enemy, if he despaired from entering that structure through the door, that enemy will be keeping looking at any hole that he can enter the structure there through. And those holes of the structure are the sins that a person may commit. By committing the sins, the person will be making holes in the structure. If you become indulgent in the matter of maintaining the structure from those holes, then the enemy will be able to enter the structure not through the door. You're blocking the door, but the sins will be the holes of that building. Then, once the enemy is able to enter the building through the holes of sins, then it will not be easy for you to drive him out. And you'll be with him on 3 categories, or 3 things, or 3 possibilities. 1, either he'll be defeating you, and he'll be grabbing the building, the structure, or he'll be living with you in that structure, and you'll not be happy having an evil partner living with you inside that structure. Or he'll be making you busy from maintaining or being in that structure. You'll be always busy with him. Then you'll be obliged to rebuild that structure, filling the holes of that structure, in order to save that structure from that enemy. And if he entered, you'll be having 3 problems with him. He's going to be ruining, spoiling, destroying the structure for you. And he'll be attacking all the preparations that you have prepared against him. And he'll be guiding other thieves to attack and to raid and to invade this structure that you've been taking care of. 3 things. He'll be corrupting it, he'll be raiding it, and he'll be guiding other thieves to raid your structure. They will be keeping raiding, invading you, one raid after the other, until they will make you weak. Then you'll be obliged to give up the structure and to leave and try to find another structure. This is very good, very marvelous and impressive way of expression that Ibn Al-Qayem mentioned in this subject. We will be with you containing this struggle between the owner of the structure and the enemy who is trying to invade this structure of faith. Be with us on the next episode. May Allah reward you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Oh